Hey everyone, welcome to today's video where we'll be covering the top 5 best farms in Destiny 2 Year 1 with some honorable mentions after the main list. Now these won't be in any special order because different farms are meant for different things. Some are to farm majors, others you just need a ton of low level enemy kills. Some are good orb farms, while others work better for certain catalysts. Some of these farms have been around since the launch of Destiny 2, while others were introduced recently with the Warmind DLC. So let's get into it. What are the best farms in Destiny 2? The first one is the most efficient farm currently available in the game. Found inside the Whisper of the Worm quest mission, this can be done on either normal or heroic, but I'd recommend not even bothering to try this on normal until you've completed the mission so that you can just restart the heroic version over and over instead of waiting for a public event. Once you make it through a good portion of the jumping puzzle, you'll arrive at this green room, and if you drop down below the surface you end up in a dark thrall pit which actually has infinitely spawning shadow thrall. This thrall pit works amazing for almost any catalyst in the game, whether it be Huckleberry, Sweet Business, Cold Heart, Sunshot, Graviton Lance, you name it. The one thing this farm lacks is any source of heavy ammo, so if you're trying to farm for heavy weapons, you'll want to use one of the farms I cover later in the video. The only downside to this farm is you have a time limit, but if you practice the jumping puzzle, you can get to this green room in 2 to 3 minutes, which leaves you with a ton of time to farm kills. This quest mission appears on Fridays at reset, and lasts until Monday at reset, so if you need to do any catalyst farming, take advantage of the weekends. I'm still very confused as to why this pit is even here. Sometimes I wonder if Bungie put this here for us to farm, but I'm skeptical. The Whisper of the Worm quest mission farm has to be the best enemy farm in the game to date. Next up is the Leviathan raid farms. I'll be covering 2 farms here as both are on the normal Leviathan and work for different things. The first is in the Castellum. Enter the raid like normal, and when you get to the first encounter, aka the opening the door sequence, you can just farm Cabal endlessly here. This farm works great for Catalyst as well, specifically the Polaris Lance one. If you're trying to get those perfect 5th explosions, shoot a Phalanx shield until you get the explosive round, and then shoot the head of a full health Cabal and he'll burn from the fire effects, giving you progress on your Catalyst. The downside to this one is the enemies are pretty lethal here. I'd recommend using Warlock's Voidwalker Devour ability to keep yourself alive, or using Wormhusk Crown on the Hunter so that you can dodge and get your health back. Plus, if you hate Phalanxes, this farm can get annoying, but at least you have no time limit. To access the second Leviathan raid farm, you'll need to drop below the entrance to open the secret passage by entering the code 153246, the leftmost being 1 and the rightmost being 6. You have to be pretty quick to hit these levers, and the way you'll know how you got it is when the text pops up saying the way is open. The code never changes, you just gotta be fast. Once the way is open, run through the passage in front of the cannons, activate the lift, and go through the doorway to get to the engine room. This place is phenomenal for farming heavy kills and majors. All you have to do is access the room, piss off the watchers, and wait until every single enemy spawns from this one door at once. Legend of Acrius is amazing for this farm, and this is a great place to farm for major kills for its catalyst. Once you clear the enemies and kill all the watchers, you can just step outside one of the doors and activate the lever again. It instantly respawns all the enemies so you can continue farming. There really isn't any downside to this, there's no time limit, and you have infinite enemies with infinite heavy ammo. It's one of the more reliable farms in the game and one of my favorite farms for sure. Next up is an adventure farm found in the normal and heroic versions of the Mars Adventure Hephaestus. If this isn't on your map, that means you have to complete all the adventures on Mars to be able to replay them. Once you've done that, you can talk to Anna Bray. Sometimes the adventure she offers rotates, so keep checking back to see when the adventure is available. Once you begin the adventure, you have to destroy 2 consoles, then travel to the server room. It's basically like you're doing the Will of the Thousand strike. Instead of making a left, you want to make a right after the first encounter room. Once here, you have to scan 3 terminals. Once that's done, the game will ask you to scan a main terminal. This is where the farm starts. Thrall will start spawning, and if you let some of them crowd around the terminal, it'll actually stop progress on the scan, but still spawn infinite Thrall. You can just keep killing these guys over and over, and as long as you don't kill the ones up top near the terminal, the adventure won't end. Alternatively, you can kill the Thrall by the terminal to continue the mission progress, and eventually a ton of acolytes and knights will spawn with many more Thrall. This speeds up the farm a lot, but you have to make sure to let the thrall kill you around 85 to 90% so the mission doesn't end. Once you respawn, all you have to do is the initial scan again and the farm starts all over. It's a really great farm, a little slow but definitely reliable. If you're done with the farm but you don't want to lose it, just abandon the activity and it will still be there to start again for another time. The last farm I would recommend is a great one found in the Exodus Black on Nessus. You'll want to start up the adventure called Exodus Siege, and just like before, it works the same way. If you don't have it on the map, do all the other adventures and talk with Failsafe. If it's not there after that, wait till our inventory rotates and check back again to see if it's there. As soon as you start this adventure, just head to the right over here and get the attention of 2 Assault Scouts, aka Major Fallen Vandals, and once you have them close together, away from the cave they spawned from, kill both of them as quickly as possible. Do not pick up the materials they drop or it will continue the adventure. Instead, run up to this little cave where they spawn, and it's as easy as that. These majors will infinitely spawn until you either pick up the little pyramid material or leave the game. All you have to do is stand in front of this cave and kill them over and over. Once you're done, you can just abandon the activity for later. This farm is great if you need to kill powerful fallen or majors. The downside to this one is that it's in a public space where events take place, so more than likely someone will want to join in sooner or later. Those are the top 5 best farms to use in the game, but I also wanted to cover some honorable mentions that didn't make the list. The first one being Escalation Protocol. If you have access to Mars and have completed the Warmind campaign, then you have access to this farm. Make sure no one is waiting for a public event to spawn in, and then start up the activity, and there will be tons of thrall you can easily get kills for your catalyst, or for anything really. Once you've cleared a good chunk of the first level, you can just let the activity expire and restart it after it ends. Or you could fast travel to the Braytech Featurescape and start an instance there. This farm isn't that reliable because there will almost always be another player using this farm with you, and it's not infinite low level enemies. Another great farm that didn't make the list was the Lost Sector Cargo Bay 3 on Titan in the rig. There are a ton of acolytes here you can easily farm, and it takes 2 seconds to get here. Just spawn in the rig, make a left and jump over this railing, drop down and just follow the corridor, and boom, you're there. Once you have killed all the enemies, you can let the ogre kill you, and it should spawn you partially up the stairs, where you can just run quickly to the exit and respawn. This Lost Sector is pretty good, but it doesn't have as many enemies as previous farms. As an alternative, you can run the Lost Sector on Mars in the Braytech Featurescape. That also has a ton of low level enemies. The last few farms here are all found in public spaces, and the reason they're last is because these are the least reliable farms I've found. They can be very fun, but can either not spawn for a while or they can be easily interrupted. The first one is in Trossland in the EDZ on Earth. Usually after a public event, a fallen captain will spawn in here, and if you stand in this doorway, you can farm shanks for quite a while as long as you don't kill the captain. There is really no guaranteed way to trigger this, he just kind of spawns naturally, but there are a ton of shanks and they spawn really fast, so if you're in the EDZ already, check out this location to see if he's here. The next one is on Nessus again. Spawn in the artifact's edge and go straight until you drop down into a pit and find this cave here. The farm will only begin when the message pops up saying that enemy is moving against each other. This farm is incredibly fun if you use Sunshot or any super with fiery explosions. For a good 6 to 7 minutes, dregs and shanks will spawn at an insane rate, fast enough to keep an explosion chain going for over a minute. I originally found this farm a month or 2 after the game released, and it's been pretty fun to come back here every once in a while to kill some baddies. The last farm is also on Nessus in the Exodus Black. When you spawn, take a right and clear out all the enemies around this rock. Every single enemy has to be dead for this to work, and once they are, sit to the left of the cave entrance and let the shanks spawn. They spawn 3 at a time and are pretty consistent, although if any other enemy is roaming around or spawns in, it can disrupt this farm. Even this fallen captain wanted to join in on the farm, but I was like, it's not happening, bud. You get a lot of that, randoms just coming up to your farm and stealing kills. Those of you who played Destiny 1 will remember that from the loot cave in Skywatch. This one is pretty slow, but it's a farm nonetheless. I'm sure there are other locations where enemies infinitely spawn. I can think of a few more off the top of my head, but I covered all the ones you'd ever want to use in this video. Whether it's for a catalyst, quest, or just because you miss shooting into a cave like the old days, these farms should satisfy those needs. If you like this video, let me know, and if you want to see more like it, put those suggestions in the comments, and I'll be sure to read them. Thanks very much for watching, and hope you all have a great day.